Greeting geeks and nerds, I'm Lazy Universe and White Nerdy, and yes, I am dressed up like this for a special occasion. I'm reviewing the Bill and Ted movies finally. Not all three of them, not Bill and Ted Face the Music as being involved in this. It's just Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And I will admit, I have never seen these movies before. A bunch of people have told me about them before. I've heard references to them, but I never knew, and I knew about Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter playing these characters, especially mostly Keanu Reeves, but I've never officially have seen these films, and I've always been interested to see them and watch them, mind you. But it took me so long to actually own these films, and now I can finally tell you guys what I think about both of these films. And no, I'm not going to do the clip show and say spoilers because I'm reviewing two movies and I like to save time to do so. So we are taking a look at the excellent, Excellent Double Future. So this only has Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey. And also, in case you guys are wondering, I'm not going to do the Funko Pop rating until the end of this review. So, just to let you guys know, this is going to be my review and retrospective. I'm going to give you guys the good and bad and also my honest opinions on both of these movies. So, without any further ado, let's jump into the telephone booth, dial up the payphone, and travel through history with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures coming first. Our film begins with the mysterious narrator, George Carlin, who plays Rufus in this film, who tells us that the future will be saved if only two people can pass their test. These two people happen to be Bill S. Preston, played by Alex Winter, and Theodore Ted Logan, played by the young Keanu Reeves, and probably their first epic actor debut. The boys are in a band, and not a really good one, but they are in a band known only as Wild Stallions. And they're not very good, and basically neither one of them can play at all. The plot of the movie is kind of basic, but also kind of confusing, as it's up to these two to pass a history exam in order for them to save the future. Somehow. Ah, the magic of time travel, when anything is possible. Hey, remember when Marty McFly went back in time and basically had to bang his mother in order to save himself? Oh wait, that's not Back to the Future. I might have seen the wrong one. It's kind of like confusing stuff like that. It's like, at least in Back to the Future, it made sense of why he, by accident, went back in time after seeing his friend, after seeing his friend Doc Brown get shot down. So his accident was going back in time, and here, they don't exactly go back in time by accident. It's just very confusing that the fate of the future lies in the two for some reason. Like, the future rests in these two's hands, and it raises so many questions because, and I heard in a James and Mike Monday video that James Wolfe was comparing Bill and Ted to Doctor Who, and he might be right, because in Doctor Who, they do the time travel, they go back in time, and whatever, and they try to save the world, save the universe. But at least in Doctor Who, it has a simple narrative. It follows a pretty simple plot. Here, I ask so many questions that just become unanswered for this movie. Why is the fate of the world dependent on Bill and Ted? Why are Bill and Ted the only ones that can save the future? Why not anyone else in their class that can pass the history exam? Why is it just these two? Why does Rufus just magically give them a teleporting telephone box that go to the past and to the future? If that makes any sense, I don't know, but it doesn't here. I admit, though, it is rather fun to see them go back in time and collect the famous historic figures that they can speak for their final history exam, but that's about all the credit I can give it. However, the comedy in this movie doesn't really work. There are some jokes that do work, but others that just kind of go nowhere and defeat the purpose of the joke. Also, there is one joke they keep repeating throughout this whole movie, is that Bill has a very hot stepmother. That's a joke. And also another question, how do they know how time travel works if they have never time traveled before by leaving stuff behind in the past so they can find it in the future? I'll admit, though, the final show and the final social studies project exam had to be probably the highlight of the movie, as it's one of the best parts that they end up doing together, and it's a good finale to the film. And I know that this film has a huge cult following and a huge fan base, but hear me out. I really do not like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, if I can be honest with everybody. I know, shocker, to come from a guy that always talked about due fair criticisms with movies, and well, I've watched this one 3 times, and I just don't get it. Like, all the questions I asked are never answered. The reason for the exam is kind of cool, though. Try to talk about how people from the past would view everyday America. It's a nice little unique trend. And also how the historic figures interact with everyday America during the mall scene. It's probably also, again, a really nice highlight, and I like how they do it. But, like, one of the people that they grab is Joan of Arc, who was believed to basically be transgendered, and she was burned at the stake for being a witch, for being different. Yeah, why is she involved in this? Like, I know about the Holy Crusade and that she's one of the most historic figures from the Holy Crusade, but why involve her in this movie? Because of what happened to her later, And especially, I do have to say, Napoleon Bonaparte also kind of brings down the film. It's like one of the most historic generals and throughout history, and yet he is more obsessed with getting ice cream, going bowling, and finding water slides. This comedy just loses me, if I can be honest. It's not very good. Like, I've seen time travel TV shows and movies, and at least with something like Quantum Leap, you understand the reason why he's leaping around through time. Back to the Future, you understand what's happening kind of better than this movie. And I know that this is just the first. It probably was a low-budget movie when it came out, and it became a cult classic even still today, and also launched the tremendous careers of filmmaker Alex Winter and actor Keanu Reeves. But I just gotta be honest, I really didn't like it. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's the way I was feeling, maybe it's just because I didn't understand it. I don't know. Personally, I just don't care. I didn't like the movie. If you guys like this movie, more power to you, but I really didn't. I thought this was pretty much one of the worst time travel movies that I've ever seen, and personally, I would not recommend it. But if you're a fan of Bill and Ted, That's One Adventure, then I'm happy for you, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the film, but I personally didn't like it, but I can understand why it had such a big and huge cult following. More on my final opinion later, though, as we are going to move into our second feature for this double review of being Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And let me tell you something. If you had to pick one Bill and Ted movie to check out to kind of make you a fan, you can jump into the sequel without knowing anything about the original, and you'll be fine. I mean, this sequel is one of the best sequels ever. You know how always people are like, the sequel will never match the original. The sequel is so much damn better than the original. Because in the original, the only thing that was the villain of the movie was technically their high school teacher. That's about it. That's all that was like the threat in that movie. But here, they actually have a villain, a more simple plot, and also probably one of the funniest time travel stories of all time. So let's get this over with and go bogus dude, and also let's suffer in hell and die together with Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. The movie actually begins with the villain giving a villainous speech about how he's going to destroy Bill and Ted before they can save the future. This is amazing. Meanwhile, we get back in our leading role, Mr. George Carlin as Rufus, who seems to be teaching a class in the future because he can do that. Our villain of the movie is named Donomalus, who wants to destroy Bill and Ted only because they are annoying and he finds them so damn annoying. We cut to Bill and Ted sometime years later, who's still trying to make wild stallions a thing, but of course, and as per the usual, they're still not very good at playing music. If you want to give them credit, they have the wives in the band, so they don't have to worry about the wife running off with anybody. So kudos to them. And they even have kind of a rockin' band if it's just the girls. Between films, some time has passed, and Bill and Ted has actually grown up, and they kind of became more mature, and they're looking to start a life for themselves by marrying the girl of their dreams. Not kidding, and it's kind of cute and an adorable scene too, where the two of them at the same time ask the girl of their dreams, the princesses from the other movie, to marry them. Oh yeah, the villain of the movie decides to make evil cyborg or robot Bill and Ted's. Why does he do this? Because he's the villain of the movie. But in a good but unique twist, the evil robots end up destroying Bill and Ted's life, making the princesses break up with them and never to speak to them ever again. And yes, in a bizarre twist of fate, Bill and Ted actually and officially do die in this movie within the first half hour. So Bill and Ted must somehow cheat death, find their way back to life, and save the future from the villain who wants to destroy them because he finds them so damn annoying. And also they go to hell to meet Satan. How many films can you say that about somebody? Just because they go to hell to meet Satan because they get banished there. This movie is instantly and infamously so much better than the original, and that is so much praise that I can actually give this film. There are so many unique things better in this film than in the last one, especially Death, who instantly steals the show as soon as he's on screen. He's just the funniest character. And in fact, I think what's even funnier is that Death decides to challenge Bill and Ted to board games. So they actually play board games against each other, like Twister, Battleship, Clue, and several other board games. And it's like, I want that to be a thing. I want that to be a thing where as soon as you have to go into the underworld, you must challenge Death to any game of your choosing. I challenge him to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel and make it as much more interesting as Yugi versus Merrick. But it's such a funny concept, and a really unique one too, because I don't think that anything like that has ever been done before, which is why I say that this film is just so much better than the original in every way. The plot is easier to follow. The story is very good and well written. The cast is very great. The villain even is funny too, and just for the fact that he wants to destroy the two young adults just because they annoy him is the highlight of the movie. And yeah, man, I mean, they go to hell, go to heaven, and then they come back to life to destroy the world and rock on. How many films can you definitely say that? And I'm praising this film so much because, yeah, it's so much funnier and well better written than the original. And this is the sequel. This should have been the original. And then Face the Music should have been the sequel. And then they could have made whatever. I'm just saying. Like, I know that Excellent Adventure had made it staple in pop culture media and that people reference it. There's pop culture references to it here and there, especially the Wild Stallions and the excellent guitar riff. But I do have to say I like this one more than the original. It's humorous, it's charming, it got a lot of heart to it. It's just one of the funniest, comedies, especially time travel comedies, that I have ever seen next to Back to the Future. And yeah, I've never seen anything like it, and I watched this movie more times than the original, and I still laugh my ass off every time that I watch this film. They even meet these cool little guys that come straight out from Jim Henson's Nightmare called Stations that happen to be the smartest creatures in the world that basically invent their good robot clones. And it ends the way that you think that it is, with a happy ending all around and a heroic save by Bill and Ted, who end up saving the world, saving the girlfriends, and having the most epic rock-off ever. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is the least best of the bunch, with not answering a lot of the time travel questions, and in fact it basically just puts idiots in a time travel situation by giving them like one of the most technologically advanced things in the universe, and without giving them any explanation of how time travel works by giving them a phone book to travel through time. They're just a bunch of questions like why involve the hot mom that used to be their teacher thing? Why involve the teacher basically being a villain and hoping that they fail? Why did Ted's dad want to send him to military school? Except for just failing history of all things. And he even brings it up in the sequel, which fails in comparison even still. You know, and it's like, how did Bill and Ted meet? Why are they so important to one another? There's so many questions in the original that just kind of don't get asked. The sequel kind of gives you the idea that they grew up together and that they've been friends basically ever. And even they kind of talk about it in the original, but not as much as they do here that really shows off of why the two are so damn important to one another. And as such, I'm gonna have to do my two ratings basically just one right behind the other here. Which, yeah, I've never done before, but X1 Adventure is just the least fun of the bunch. It raises too many questions and doesn't have a lot of answers, unfortunately, especially for the way that they get the famous citizens. I admit is comedic, but not very good at the same time. Like Genghis Khan, they attract with the Twinkie. So I have to give my rating of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I'm gonna give it my Funko Pop rating of an Elsa Bloodstone. Well, it is a gem and it has a cult following for a lot of people. And if you like it and if you don't agree with me, that's fine too. But it still is a hidden gem in the movie gallery. But however, it comes off like a fucking shotgun blast right to the face of how basically kind of dull it is. Bogus Journey is the best of the bunch. It's really funny, had great writing, memorable characters, and really should have been the first film to begin with. It is a blast to watch from beginning to end, no matter how many times that you see it. So for me, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey will get a Aquaman for me because after I watched the original, I really sunk my opinions on the sequel being any better, and much like Aquaman rising out of the water, it rose above my expectations. So let's get the double rating started. Out of Bloodstone for Excellent Adventure and Aquaman for Bogus Journey. Let's do this. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I've been reasonable, so I've been waiting to keep eking on. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me at Twitter with a link in the description down below. And just in case if you're not being notified of these videos being uploaded, feel free to hit that bell icon so you can be notified every single time I make an upload, because my Batman 66 the movie review hasn't done so well. But my Godzilla vs. Kong video did very well. As I'm pre-recording this, I don't know about iZombie or Spider-Man Animals Assemble. YouTube is weird with the algorithm bullcrap. I guess it's affecting me too, just like other big YouTubers out there. And also be sure in the comment section down below, if you're a Bill and Ted fan, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer both, Excellent Adventure or Bogus Journey? Or if you want to also see me check out Face to Music, let me know in the comments down below, and if I can ever come across Face to Music, I will definitely pick it up and review it on this channel. If not this year, there's always next year. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching a Lazy Universe movie review. And until next time, guys, take care and rock on, because Wild Stallions!